Hey everyone, welcome to another Artcast. Today I'm going to be doing a Star Wars piece, which is a challenge piece from the Facebook group that I'm a member of called the Artcasters. And this is a monthly challenge that some members of the group just throw out a topic and any artists who want to contribute can. And this is the challenge for August, and as I'm recording this, there's only 2 more days left of August, so I'd better hurry up. So before I get to that, I wanted to mention a couple things real quick. I still have, if you've seen the Robin Williams video that I did, actually there's 3 parts to that piece, 3 different videos where I draw this piece of art, and it's still up on eBay. I've had it listed a couple times at $50 and it didn't sell, so I've lowered it a little bit. But keep in mind, everything that I make off of this piece will be donated to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, so it's all for a good cause. And it's a nice piece, I think. This piece is the most recent piece. This is Richard Attenborough as Kris Kringle from Miracle on 34th Street. Really super happy with how this came out, and it came together really quickly, like 2.5 hours, which makes me bummed now that I didn't actually record the process, because that would have been a good one to do. This one was on eBay for a few days, also didn't sell, but then again, I'm trying to sell a Christmas piece in August, so who knows. I've had a few people ask about it since the auction ended, so it might be going back up. So if you really want this piece, you know, post a comment or send me a note or something, and maybe I'll throw it back up there. Also today I'm going to be filming the video with this new little flexible arm. I can't show you what it looks like with the iPhone in it because I'm recording you with my iPhone. But it just clamps in here, and it's flexible, but it's fairly strong. So hopefully this will work. And I mounted it actually to a shelf on the wall so that every time I kick my desk, I'm not actually messing up the picture. So, all right, with that, let's do a little bit of Star Wars drawing. All right, so here we are. This time I'm going to be drawing a stormtrooper riding a patrol dewback, which is, hopefully you can see this reference on my iPad. This is the shot I'm going to be drawing. Basically those big lizard things they ride around on Tatooine. So that's the photo reference, and I'm going to put this back up on my iPad arm, and so I'm going to just go in with a whoops, where am I? Okay, a 2H pencil, which is fairly light. It's a hard pencil, so it'll be fairly light, so I can do this initial quick sketch just to kind of get everything framed out. Just go in here first and kind of lay in what I think is going to be the overall frame of the artwork, which will kind of mimic the shape of the reference photo, kind of give it that almost like a widescreen letterboxed feel. Working from photo reference is kind of tricky sometimes. It takes a while, and I'm still not great at it, but it takes a while to really kind of be able to see like where the proportions should be, how big things should be in relation to the paper. You know, I try to kind of in my head kind of split the photo reference into sections. So I look at the piece, I look at the center line down the middle, vertically and horizontally, try to figure out where they would cut. Actually cut into the this frame. Just trying to get the basic shape of this thing's back. And sometimes I'll even take the pencil and just kind of line it up over the iPad just so I can see, okay, here's the center of the screen, here's the piece of the character that actually touches that, and be able to kind of translate that back onto the paper. This is definitely the hardest part for me, just because it sets up the entire piece. If something is out of whack in this stage, then it's going to continue to be out of whack for the entire drawing. And I wish it were more scientific than this, but a lot of times it really is just a matter of eyeballing it. I think you definitely just get better at that over time. here in this part, this is actually where my photo reference cuts off, so I'm not really sure how to finish that front. But then I found another piece of photo reference, which is actually a photo of this scale model of a dewback, which kind of gives me a better indication of what the front of its snout is supposed to look like. So I'm gonna try to wing it on that and see if I can just come up with it. Hopefully, I don't know if you can see that at this point, but so I want that to just come out of the, just stick out of this frame just a little bit. I'll erase some of this frame. I like doing these pieces where you have kind of a set bounding box, but certain parts of it actually stick out of it. What's going to be really hard is trying to fill in all the scales on this thing, which I probably should have considered before I started, but what are you going to do? I wish I had as much to talk about on my art cast as some other artists do. I should probably plan ahead for that and just come up with something to talk about. But then I often just get lost in what I'm doing, and then minutes have gone by and I realized I haven't said anything. I did get to go see Ghostbusters in the theater last night. It's the 30th anniversary, and it's back in theaters for 1 week, so I went and saw that last night after I put the kid to bed. Not much to say other than it's Ghostbusters, and it was awesome. Although I will say, 30 years later, seeing it in the theater, I think I was 12 years old when it first came out, and yeah, on the big screen, even though it was supposedly a restored version, yeah, after that amount of time, some of those effects don't particularly hold up. There were some effects that were pretty bad. And I don't know if you would have just not noticed it when the movie first came out, or I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that, you know, back then movies were made to be seen once, maybe twice in a theater, and then maybe way later on when they come on HBO, if you were like one of the rich kids that had HBO, which I was not. And, you know, movies just weren't made to withstand repeated viewings like that. Because I think you would have thought, well, you know, you're going to be paying attention to the story, and you're not going to pay attention to what's going on over there, whatever that might be. But yeah, there were some shots in there, some like some composite shots, some matte painting shots where you could actually visibly see the matte shaking. It was kind of jarring, actually. By the way, I've never drawn a stormtrooper in my life, believe it or not, so this is kind of tricky. Normally I wouldn't even start these videos until after I've gone through this, at least this stage, and this would be the first time you would be seeing it. But I know there's been some people in the Facebook group that have said that they wished more artists doing videos would actually start from the beginning, and there's a lot of reasons why I think we don't. For me, a lot of it is just, you know, this part of the process is, I don't know, it's prone to error, and, you know, having to go in like this and fix something, and I think it's just like I don't necessarily know if everybody wants to see how this sausage is made, but I know I do when I'm watching other artists do things, so I guess it's only fair to try it.
I don't even know what all this stuff is he has hanging off of his back, but I used to get real hung up about that too, because I was like, oh, I can't tell from this picture what this is even supposed to be. Or a lot of it is in shadow, so you can't really tell the details behind it. But the point is, you can't see the details because that's what the picture is. So don't be afraid to draw the thing in complete darkness with no detail, because that's what you see. I still kind of struggle with that a little bit, because you wanna get the details in there, but if there are none to be had, then just draw it the way you see it. Because I can't see all the little details on this. I assume this is some sort of rifle, but I don't get it. These suns aren't in the photo reference, but I thought it'd be kind of nice to put some white right here with some highlights just to show the twin suns. And that is it for the first loose sketch. I'm really going to have to do some work on that stormtrooper, but I think this is good enough for a good start. And now we will move on to some darker pencils. So we're going to start by going in here with a 6B, which is fairly dark. We'll go in and start on some details on this stormtrooper. I'm having a hard time positioning my head to where I can see the piece without the glare from these lights. I guess eventually I'll figure all this out, but right now it's kind of a drag. It helps to be able to see what you're drawing. So I've got up here, I've got the light from my drafting table, and then I've also got the iPhone, and I have its light on to kind of diffuse some shadows. And all of that is just making for some hellacious glare here. I'm gonna switch to 4B for a minute, just to see. 6B is so soft, it's just... I'll try something a little harder. Oh, my iPhone light went off. I wonder why. Huh. Hang on, let's see if I can get it back. Okay, so the iPhone says it needs to cool down before I can use the light again. So we'll see if we can make do without it. Okay, I think that about does it for this phase. The only other thing I've got to do is do the scales on this guy's head, which kind of scares me a little bit. It's going to be kind of a pain. I'm not going to draw in every individual scale, but I definitely want to get as much in there as I can. So we'll see how that goes.
So as you probably can tell, it is the next day. It's daytime outside. Due to some technical difficulties when I started this piece, namely running out of space on my iPhone, I didn't realize I had over 2,000 photos from over a year ago that I still haven't imported into my computer, which was like 9 megabytes of stuff. So I did that and freed up a bunch of space, but I just figured I would go ahead and just finish this piece, which I think came out pretty well. Never drawn a stormtrooper before, believe it or not. I think it came out okay. So, sorry I didn't get to show the rest of the progress on this, and I'm still trying to kind of get the hang of this new iPhone arm that I'm playing with here. When I started that last video, I had the iPhone here, and I actually was using the flash light on it to kind of help light the piece and help diffuse a few shadows from this light that were casting some shadows. And then about halfway through, the light shut off because the iPhone said it was just getting too hot. It said to try again when the iPhone cooled down, which is kind of weird. So yeah, I've just got to keep playing with some lighting setups and figure out how I'm going to handle all that. But like I said, hopefully the first part of that video, since I started this piece from scratch with just pencils, hopefully that was somewhat interesting. And I'll try to do that on the next videos, just kind of do a balance between actually showing the actual process with just some sped up, like speed drawing kind of things, just to keep it interesting. So anyway, thanks for watching. This will likely be up on eBay soon and also in my store as a print. So until next time, see ya.